Hi, I'm Kedar Ahmed, and you're watching rptv. On February the 27th of 2025, the Planning Committee for the Regent Park Social Development Plan gathered for an important meeting to discuss preparations for the upcoming stakeholders table meeting. The committee, composed of dedicated community leaders, focused on securing the location at the Daniel Spectrum and navigating logistical challenges, such as staffing costs and food arrangements. One key point of the discussion was the opportunity to collaborate with the local cafe to support entrepreneurs and integrate their services into the event. The committee also emphasized the importance of making the stakeholders table meetings more dynamic and engaging for attendees. They proposed that the working groups take the lead in introducing themselves, outlining their goals and activities for the year, and soliciting feedback from the community. The aim is to create an open and interactive environment where new members feel encouraged to join the efforts. As they worked through these details, the committee was committed to ensuring that the stakeholders table meeting would not only run smoothly, but also foster deeper connections within the Regent Park community and provide a platform for meaningful collaborations. Now let's go to the meeting.
So if I can draw your attention to the first item, we have the upcoming stakeholders table meeting. The information under that item would include the location, the content, the food, event logistics, and the poster. Our second agenda would be agenda item would be the announcements and updates from the Strategic Planning Committee, the Funding Committee, the business proposals that have not yet been approved to proceed forward for submission from the $50,000, the 50K budget, the shaping cultures, the training chat incident forum, evaluations and benchmark. Now, this item was put over, was deferred from our last meeting as we didn't have a chance to get to this. And Deany, just for your thing, I did update some notes again. If you want to run back and have a look at that, you can look and see if those additions help you follow through on what was happening at the last meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. All right. Okay, so is everybody okay with the agenda as is?
I
think Adonis has his hands up.
Oh, please. Oh, thank you, Kedar.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is you have the business proposals. The ones have, sorry, go down a little bit.
Yep.
Oh, do you mean all the business proposals, right?
Correct. We submitted 4,
all of
but I
them. Okay,
believe
good.
there are still another 4 that
Okay.
we haven't discussed. If you think that should be, dealt with at another.
No, all of them is fine. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
They're just
All right.
updates.
Yes, correct. Are we okay with the agenda as is?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So to speak to the first agenda item, which is the stakeholders table meeting, we have confirmed that the Daniel Spectrum Community Living Room will be the location for Thursday, March 27th. To give an update on this, on February 21st, the business proposal to access the funding for the 2025 year has been submitted. I did do a follow-up email, which I'm still waiting on a response to make sure that that funding will be available in time. To move towards the content, I'm going to pass that over to Adonis. If you don't mind, Adonis, I believe that this was something that you were bringing forward as a potential content. I see, Gail, you raised your hand. Is there anything?
Yeah, it's related to location. You're saying it's confirmed. I think 2 days ago it wasn't. Or
Yes,
we need to talk about cost. So please tell me what's confirmed. I'm not understanding.
The location has been confirmed. That is fine. The date has been secured for us on that night. What is not confirmed is the $200. So
then it's not confirmed. For me, that's not confirmed. All you have. I mean, do we have an email from the Spectrum that says you have been confirmed for the location. These are the expectations. This is the cost. If we don't have that, for me, this is not confirmed. And I am unconcerned that you sent an email, you said weeks, and you said you sent more than one, yet still we don't have a response to that. That is unacceptable for me. And then you are saying that 2 other people told you it's confirmed. Like, come on.
I spoke with
Hello.
Ooh, yeah.
On Brandy,
beg your pardon?
said you were speaking. What were you?
Thank you. What I was going to say was I did speak with Farid and it is confirmed. What is not confirmed is the $200. So I've got two different, I guess, conversations that happen outside of me, and neither one of those people are here. I did speak with both of them to try to get them together to try to resolve this issue. It's in terms of the budget. So we do know we have the $300 for the childcare. So the $950, which was left for the food, I'm not sure if 200 will be taken out of that to be spent at the to be spent within Daniel Spectrum at their little kitchen there. And that was one of the requirements. So I get what you're saying, Gail, when you're saying if we're unsure about the $200 cost, he has confirmed he will waive this if that money is spent at the cafe. So these are the things that we still need to work out. But I mean, that's what I'm waiting to hear back from both Elena and Walied.
Hello.
Go ahead, Michael.
So I actually heard some of the discussions because this happened. Part of it happened basically after my meeting. So, but the thing is that so there are multiple possible things that Farid might have meant or might mean, and some of them might actually not be acceptable to us. So the non-confirmed is more on our side than on his side. So I'm sure he can make up some condition that would satisfy him, and that doesn't mean we're satisfied with.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not waiving the fee; he's just changing the conditions around the fee. The last time we talked about it, we didn't actually even know that he would be satisfied if we just spent $200 at the cafe. He could have meant anything. He could have meant no outside food, right? We don't know. I had suggested that if he would limit his requirements on us to spend the $200 at the cafe rather than just paying him $200, that would be acceptable to me. But if he meant no outside food, you have to spend all your food money at the cafe, that would not be acceptable because that's not giving a free space at all. So the last time we talked about it, we really didn't know what his conditions were. Now you're saying that it's the $200 at the cafe. I don't know if we got any further confirmation on that. I think you're just remembering that I said that that could be a possible solution. But we don't actually know at this point that Farid thinks that could be a solution. And we don't even know that the rest of the planning committee thinks that could be a solution.
No, that's why I said it still needs to be discussed. I never said...
Yeah, I know. But the point being is it's also not even confirmed that possible solution is acceptable to Farid. So you said a moment ago that that's what it now is. I don't think we know even that yet.
That's what I was told. That's what it was. The $200.
When were you told that?
Today is Tuesday night. So that's why I'm saying.
So you had heard that afterwards, that he
Correct.
would limit his request to us to
Correct.
$200 at the cafe.
Correct.
But we could still spend the rest of the money outside or however we wanted.
Correct.
Is that it? So he has actually given us additional information since the last time we spoke.
Correct.
All right, well, that should have been more clear. But in that case, then
I don't
what
get a
is
chance
not?
to be clear
Can
before.
I just finish? What is not confirmed then? If that's his new position, then I think it is confirmed on his end, and we just have to decide if that's acceptable to us. So what is it that he is still not confirmed?
One second. Sorry, 1 second. I'm just checking something. You appear on my screen as Deany, Joel, Gail, and Adonis. I'll let you speak to this issue. I'm going to see if I can get him on a call.
Yeah, I don't know who's the him, but yeah, I feel like we are.
But can you clarify what it is that is still not confirmed from him? Because if you had spoken to him and that's what he said, then he's confirmed. We may or may not like it, but
That's what I said.
what other information can we get from him?
Michael,
Jesus, people.
I think he's
That's
got it. She got
ridiculous.
that from not from Farid directly. I think she's probably connecting with Walied. And that may
You're
be
putting
that
words in my mouth. That's not, you have no clue.
She said Farid.
Oh, Farid. Oh,
She
okay.
did
I'm sorry.
say Farid, but I still don't understand why, like, unless we want to negotiate with him and say, well, we don't like that deal, we want something else, then we need to talk to Farid. But as far as I can understand, we do know what his position is. We can make a decision, accept it, reject it, negotiate with him, whatever.
Folks, I think Brandy's making a call. It sounds like she's the facilitator. I'm going to suggest for this agenda item that we.
It's not a bad idea. I'm just asking. I tried to ask her what it is that is actually not confirmed.
Michael, can you hear me? Michael, I'm trying to get some order into the meeting. We're just talking, and I'm just going to suggest we have a facilitator for this agenda item. Does anybody want to volunteer? And that was so Brandy doesn't have to facilitate and report at the same time. I think this is getting a little bit. She's got to handle a lot of balls in the air. So can I suggest we have a facilitator for this agenda item?
So why don't you do it?
Yeah, I'll do it. Okay. So
I think the order was Gail had a hand up and then I had a hand up.
My hand was up, Adonis.
Oh, sorry, Deany. Yes, Deany, Gail.
yeah, I was just trying to think. Okay, so but I guess basically we want to clarify this question of what the conditions are, and that's why Brandy is calling, and I guess hopefully she'll be back soon and
Yeah.
clarify that. So in the meantime, let's not try to talk more about that because we don't have answers.
Well, no, because there's a piece of information that's missing. That's why my hand is up.
Sure. So like clarify a question is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the pieces of information that hasn't come into this conversation was about staffing. He said he would put himself in as the staff if we were willing to use the cafe folks. And I'm not saying anything about the amount, but that was a piece of it, is covering the staffing, because apparently there needs to be staffing to use that space. So keep that in mind when you're having this conversation.
Gail and then Adonis.
What do you not want us to talk about? Because I'm not understanding.
What was your question, Gail?
I'm trying to figure out what you not want us to talk about. Like, are you saying go on to the content and come back to the location? Because my challenge is location. So for me, this process is out of whack. We've done stakeholder tables, I don't know, for how many years, and still, right? So if I send you an email and I send you a follow-up, the expectation is that you do follow up with me. But what I've seen is that you sent an email, no follow-up, and then two other people go and have a conversation and come back. That's third-party information. And now we are trying to figure out, is this info correct or not? So out of all of this, I would still like the question to be answered. Is there a problem with responding back to our emails? This is not the first time. We had the same issue the last stakeholders table. And actually, I've seen that every time we have a stakeholders table and we ask for use of that space, we have that challenge. I know that the idea behind the community living room was you pay this, I don't know, is that $150, $250, but you didn't get any staff. You got the use of the space, and it was your responsibility to clean up. And what Denise, because she was the one who implemented this thing, and what she did is use some of the funding to then say, well, no, you don't have to pay the $150 or $250, but you have to clean up the space. And so that was waived. That is what she was doing. I don't know if that.
Who's the she? Are you talking about?
Sorry,
Denise?
CSI. CSI is the one who implemented the living room concept. So this was a written document and an agreement between CSI and Artscape.
Right.
And then part of that, she brought in this, okay, here's how we can, by you cleaning up the space and agreeing to that, then you don't have to pay that $150 because your community space. So whether a person wants to have a birthday party or whatever that looked like, that's where all this old living room came from. So if, again, the model is going back to something different, we should know that. And then, how do we book it? Do we email you or do we do this third party thing? Because I think that makes it a little difficult.
Hi.
Okay,
I think so. We have Adonis, and Adonis comes after Gail. But I think some of these questions that Gail you're raising, we may have them addressed when Brandy comes back.
Okay,
Can I just jump in for 1 second? I asked Farid to join the meeting, so all questions can be directed at him. And he's going to explain. There's been so many different conversations that has happened. He's talking to me, he's talking to Walied, and he's also talking to Elena. So I asked him to come to this planning committee so that you guys can ask him directly the questions.
And is he coming, Brandy? What's the status
Correct.
of that?
He's joining on right now through the link.
Okay, great. So we have Adonis and then Michael, and yeah, there's a few issues here, but let's. Deany's addressed one in the chat here. Adonis.
I'm going to proceed with the content until Farid gets back and gives us information. So, if you don't mind.
Just a moment. Just give me a moment, Adonis. Brandy, I suggested we have a facilitator in your absence, so I'm facilitating.
Yep, no problem.
Do you want to take that back or do you want to?
No, not at all.
Okay, well, you can take it back after this agenda item, but this one seems like there's a lot for you to keep in your mind on this agenda item. So let's go to Adonis.
Okay. So the question is at the stakeholders table, what we're going to do for the stakeholders table. This is just a suggestion, proposal. My proposal is that that the working groups all attend, or the co-chairs or representatives of each of the working groups, and basically just describe their activities that they hope to do over the next year, basically from now till December 31st, 2025, basically for the rest of the year. So introduce themselves, introduce the co-chairs, tell people when they meet, and then tell the group in terms of their activities for the year, take questions, and then appeal to members who want to join their working group. That's my proposal. It becomes a more interactive space for that to happen. If we like, we could tell the working groups that they could be as creative as they want in their presentation. But that would be the goal. And I suggest that we follow up with all the working groups, or there's maybe an ad hoc committee that could follow up and meet with each of the working groups and just clarify what we would present. So that's the proposal.
I'm going to suggest that we go back to the question of location, except that we do have a request for Adonis, just for you to repeat what you proposed. So I think that would fit well for you to do right now, just so people can hear it again and hopefully have more clarity. And then we'll have more questions and we can discuss it more after we're finished the question of location.
Okay, briefly stated again, basically it's an opportunity for all the working groups to tell us what their activities are for the year, to encourage people who have not participated in working groups to join the working groups, to let the participants know when they meet, when each of the working groups meet, and then to take Q&As from the participants, the stakeholder table participants around their activities. So that's my proposal. I suggested that each of the working groups could be a little creative in their basically report, not on what they've done in the past, but what they plan to do in the coming year.
Okay, so now we're going to go back to, thanks, Adonis. We're going to go back to the question of location. Brandy, you've talked to Farid.
Okay, no problem.
What do you suggest? Do we want to just hear a summary from Farid about where things are at, or
Yes.
would that be best for you to summarize first and then Farid to respond?
No, he can respond. We can just, if he can give us a summary of the expectations of us occupying the space from March 27 for the stakeholders table meeting.
And then I'm on
So
the speakers list, so let him go, and then I want to speak.
But just we're back on location now, so we're not talking.
I know that's
content.
what I was on the speakers list. It was Adonis who changed the subject,
Farid.
although happily I liked what he said, but I was going to speak about location, so let
Okay, then
Farid give his
Farid
information.
first.
You're up, Farid.
And I apologize. I actually have a little bit of a cold, so I was not in. And if I sniffle, sneeze, hachu, I apologize. I came here because Brandy just called me, and I wanted to actually clarify a few things. I don't think the story's all correct, although and sort of just wanted to explain both the use of the space, but also what I offered to Walied as well. Is Walied here, by the way? I hope he is.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
Yes,
He just
Walid's
joined.
here.
He just joined.
Excellent, man. How's it going, bro? Looking sharp.
Thank you.
So, couple of things. The first is when you book Daniel Spectrum, like any kind of event, we have an event services team that is sort of a little separate than the rest of the team, and everybody there is unionized, and the union has certain kinds of requirements whenever we have an active event in the building. And that requirement is that 2 Art Hub staff need to be there that are part of the events team. And I feel like I've said this at a variety of meetings, but I'm always happy to share this again because it is different than what we used to have. Where we are now Art Hubs and not Artscape, and so some of these things have changed, and some people also might not remember how things were before. So that is a requirement that we have to have whenever there's an event. The sort of one way that's possible to get around it is if Art Hubs hosts an event, right? Like, or if if I'm there, a full-time staff member is there in lieu of them. So when he came to me, I was like, "Yo, man, there's a staffing thing. About this. We've had to do it before, and it's unfortunate, but it's something. It's not even going to us. It's like literally going directly to the employees. Plus, we actually cut that price, which we normally charge $38. Sorry, $42 to our standard clients. And if you book an event in Native Slate Hall, that's the rate you would see. But for the living room, especially, I actually on my own decided to make that request to Art Hubs. I'm like, hey, this is really pricey for a lot of people. What's the lowest we can do? And we were able to get it down to 25 each instead of the 42. So, almost half, but you gotta have 2 of them. So it's still 50. And I understand that that's can be a barrier for a lot of folks, but know that, there's nothing for the room. There's nothing for the equipment. There's nothing else. It's just the staff that we are kind of required to have there, but also because legally without our team there if something goes wrong, if something bad happens and insurance is not going to cover it, really, you're not even supervising, right? So we can't be put in that position. When Walied came to me, I sort of said I can't do it at first, but then I thought for a moment and I'm like, hey, maybe there's an opportunity here that's sort of bigger than us. And I know that it's happening there. It's one of the first sort of large community events that would happen in the cafe since its opening. So I thought, hey, you know what? Maybe this is a good way to introduce the cafe to everybody. What if we get food from the cafe? And if we can do that kind of a partnership, then you know what? I'll cancel my plans and come by, and that way we can save your costs. And so that's what I offered. It's the kind of like a one-time deal. But all other events would be like the normal one. This is kind of I saw an opportunity, so I offered that opportunity, and that was it.
That's what I thought this time.
Okay, let's just have questions for clarification on this.
Yes.
Rather than getting into the back and forth. Does
I
everybody
have plenty of
understand what we're doing?
clarification questions.
Okay, so then we
Great.
have Michael. Then we're doing clarification. Michael.
So this is being described in general terms, but it doesn't actually tell us what the condition of use of the space is. So are you saying that if we spend $200 at the cafe, then everything's fine?
No,
Or are you
that's not what I'm saying.
It's
That's not
no
what I'm saying.
outside food. Are you saying
No.
it's no outside food? We have to only get food at the cafe.
Sorry. Okay,
No,
so I
you say
think
neither of those things.
yeah, neither
Okay,
of
what are
those
you
things,
saying?
and I think I'm gonna explain it. And I think we need to get that sort of that idea.
All right, but
is
can
actually
you
not.
tell us what you are saying?
I'm saying though. I'm saying. So
Farid's
let me
about
finish.
to answer. Let's let
just let me
Farid
finish.
Stop talking over top of them.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate
He
that.
talked over
I want to
top
be a
of
minute though.
me.
No, because I
Just
said
go ahead,
I
Farid.
just wanted to
Just
say
go
that
ahead.
those are not things, and I apologize if I
All
did
right,
that.
but you did talk
So-
over top of me to say that. So please tell us what is the thing.
Sure. No, 100%. So, okay. So basically, there is no rule at Daniel's Spectrum that you can't bring outside food to the living room for an event. So you can bring food from anywhere. That's not a problem. In fact, that's what we've always done. What I said, and I hope everybody heard me in the very beginning, I said is I told Walied, no, we cannot do this. You have to have the staff. That's how we do it. But as I went back and I sat there and I thought about this a little bit more, I thought about an opportunity to introduce the cafe and its food and its entrepreneurs at this space. So I said to him, and I thought it was a good opportunity. If you guys don't like the idea, then I'm totally cool with it. I can totally take it back. I basically said, hey, the sort of there's one exception to this, staffing rule, which is I need to be there, right? But I have plans that day. I can't come. I can't do it. But if we can turn this situation into an opportunity to collaborate between the SDP meeting and the living room and the cafe entrepreneurs, then I would cancel my plans so that I could help you guys not have to pay the $200. That was my offer. It has nothing to do with inside food, outside food. So we got to get that out the window. Do you know what I mean?
So basically, any cooperation whatsoever is acceptable. It doesn't even have to involve money. I mean, I don't understand what constitutes acceptable reason.
To me, I specifically laid out what the cooperation would be. It's not any cooperation. We can do thousands of different kinds of partnerships.
All right, so what is, can you specify?
Okay, so
what is the cooperation?
I did, and I'll do it one more time.
No, but I don't know what the cooperation
Let me try. Let me try one more time.
Please have him try again, because I didn't get it.
I want to try one more time. Okay, thanks.
And then
So
we're going to go
what
on to
I saw
Walied and
was
Adonis and Sarah Jane.
What I saw was an opportunity to collaborate between this event that the STP is hosting and our new living rooms carousel cafe. They only offer one thing at the cafe: food. So if I'm going to do an introduction of the cafe to the community, my only way to do a partnership is through its food. The dollar amount I don't have a set dollar amount for this. I would hope that your team is generous in terms of, allocating whatever you want to this so that the partnership is maximized. That's all I'm asking. But if you don't like it, we can go back the other way too. So I'm cool either way. I just thought this is a good win for everybody. But if people are mad, then I don't have to do this.
It could be if it can be part of the money spent there and part spent elsewhere.
Okay,
I'm totally cool with that. I'm
we're
totally
not
cool with
doing
that.
a back and forth. Farid and Michael, we're not doing a back and forth anymore. We got a lot of people waiting to talk. Walied, Adonis, and Sarah Jane.
Yeah, first of all, yeah.
Good.
So first of all, thank you so much, Joel, for acknowledging myself as the next speaker. I appreciate that. Farid, thanks so much for explaining this amazing partnership with the stakeholders table to introduce Cafe Carousel and the amazing local entrepreneurs in our community. I think it makes sense. It's a great proposal, and we can have food from local caterers. We want to invest back in our community, and I think this actually makes sense. And thanks so much for accommodating some of the costs by being there as staff to supervise the event and to participate. So we'd love to have you there, Farid. This is a community stakeholders meeting, and we want as many folks to show up. And I want you to understand that most of us, and hopefully we'll hear from other speakers, do appreciate this offer. And I think we should move forward with this because we do have other things to talk about. The location and the space and food are two important pieces, but we also have to talk about the content for the meeting.
Well, let me do that, please. Let me, you're getting
I just want to make sure that we just note to everyone else speaking that there are other items on this.
That's a facilitator's job. I'm trying to move us along.
Thank you so much, Joel.
We do need
but
to
again, once again, Farid, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
That's it all.
Okay, so we're trying. Yeah, if people want to clarify more, let's clarify. Once we're done clarifying, we'll try to come to a landing on this decision. Adonis, Sarah Jane, and Gail.
Yeah, thanks, Farid. I mirror Waleed's thoughts. My only clarification is you mentioned prices before, 42, 25, 50. What does that mean? Like $42 an hour? Like what would be, if we didn't go ahead with your partnership, what would we be expecting exactly?
Yeah, and I apologize. I haven't been to the building all this. I wasn't fully, I didn't say all my words properly. But what I was getting to was the hourly rate for the staff. So all the staff that are part of the Art Hubs events team, they're all part of two different unions. So one is and you can look these up if you want to learn more. One is the IATSE union, and then the other one's called, actually they're both IATSE, but they're two different locals.
Okay.
And at minimum, staffing is required at all events. Normally, it's a minimum of 2 what we call support staff, so venue support staff and a venue supervisor. So those are the 2 support members, and then you have technical folks as well. So there are AV technicians, and there's 3 different types in general. There's more as well for more advanced events, but your typical event would have a lighting, audio, and video. You guys are doing this event in the living room. When we negotiated our most recent, after the changeover with Artscape to Art Hubs, we, because we were looking at using the living room for this kind of stuff, we basically came in with a wish list with them to try to reduce the impact of these higher costs that the staffing imposes on events on the space. So they agreed to a few things, they didn't agree to a few other things. So we thought overall it was okay. It wasn't 100% great, but we thought we did a pretty good job. So instead of technicians, for example, so how you guys set up speakers, microphone, if we were to do this event 3 or 4 years ago in that in the living room, you'd also have to pay for an audio technician. You don't have to do that anymore. If you have somebody And that's why Focus has been doing this for the past couple of years. If you have somebody in your team that can operate a very specific AV set that we have for the living room, that doesn't violate our union rules if we do it like this. So for events in the living room, we've dropped it down to a minimum of 2 staff. They are both priced at $25 each. One is a supervisor, one is a support staff. They do not do any technical stuff, so you have to add your own, or we can hire an AV technician. They're $46 an hour. Cleaning and custodial is not part of this package. That's an optional thing. So if you do your own cleaning and custodial, then you can skip that. If you want us to hire, we can do that too. So that's a way you can also save money. And most of the groups that book there do their own cleaning, and we're generally pretty happy with the way that works out. Security with an event like this, if it's small and our in-house security is there, we usually and a tenant, in this case RPNA SDP, is organizing it, then we're okay with just the building security, so we don't have that requirement. Like if you ever book any other event in Ada Slate Hall, for example, you got to do 1 security guard per 100 guests, and if anybody's booked events there, you'll know that the staffing costs can add up. So this is our way of sort of lowering the price as much as possible, but we can't do beyond this because the union won't budge anymore beyond this. So it's just those 2 staff. Everything else you can add. Oh, thank you. Minimum hours is 4 for our staff, 5 if you get the cleaning, because cleaning is actually third party. It's not part of the union, but we got to do cleaning anyways. And so if you can get your own, you do your own. But if we hire them, that company has a 5-hour minimum.
Okay,
thanks.
So
I think
Adonis,
that so for
we're
the
still on clarifications.
Yeah.
We're not discussing it yet. We're just clarifying.
Yeah, just to clarify, it would be for the 4 hours for 2 staff, which would be $50. It would come out to $200 if we did our own cleaning and Focus provided the AV. Right? If we didn't have this partnership. Correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this is really, I also want to just stress that this is a one-time offer. We really need to, you need to budget this like you budget everything else for everything. You need to understand that this is the most we can do. The venue is free, the equipment is free. Most of the requirements are dropped, but there's a minimum 2. Without it, we can't legally even host an event. So our hands are tied. And so when you plan for future and anything in the living room, you got to make sure that you plan for that as well. The only exceptions like small workshops and things like that might happen in the daytime. With those, basically, I'm usually in the building at those times, so I can work it, right? So if there's something like that you want to do, so I don't want you to think out of this meeting that every single time you book in the living room that you got to pay $200. No, it's when you have, these kinds of events, which if you're doing like a games night or whatever, or some kind of workshop or an announcement, and it's at 12 o'clock, I'm there, I'll plan to be there. So we're all good. And we have other staff as well in the building. So you don't have to worry about those ones. It's these ones that go into the evening that have 100 people, that have food, that, all kinds of other stuff.
Okay, Gail and Sarah Jane. If you got more, Adonis, maybe you can go again later.
That's okay.
Gail.
Okay, so I think I'm understanding that it's a minimum of 4 hours, and that would bring us to $200. And then I think the other coin of this is if we purchase the food from the cafe, then we don't pay that. We pay just the cost of the food. Please let me know that I'm on the right track with those 2 pieces.
Yeah, so we'll have Farid respond to that.
Okay, thank you. So I want to, I guess we're in clarification mode. I just want to clarify my sort of proposal as a result of this ask. What I offered.
Before you clarify, I'm going to say again what the 2 options are. Please let me know yes or no. Those are not the options. Yes, it's the options, or no, they're not the options. So the first option I heard is $200. That gets you the staff, the minimum 4 hours, beer minimum, $200. The other option we seem to have heard was get the food from the cafe and you don't pay the 200. Am I correct about those two?
You're like 90% correct. All I'm gonna say is there's an addition, so nothing wrong. There is. I don't have a parameter on how much you have to spend. I didn't even think about that actually until this came up. Really, what I'm looking for is a way to introduce the cafe to the 100 or so people that are going to show up. Introduce the cafe, introduce the entrepreneurs, and I think directly they should also get the food as well. So whatever amount you guys think is reasonable to get that message out there. So I think every single person should have at least one thing from the cafe at the very minimum. And then if you want to give more, give more. If you want to spread it out with other folks in the neighborhood, I'm totally cool.
So yeah, so I'm understanding again, either you're paying $200 or you are supporting the cafe by purchasing food, or is it both?
And we get like a little 5-minute thing where we can, go up and kind of talk about the cafe.
So either I'm paying $200 or I'm purchasing at least minimum one item from the cafe. I don't pay $200.
And I just wanted to again reiterate, this is not a normal process.
I hear you. I just want to get the 2 items first before you add more info.
Sure,
So
I want to clarify as well. I just want to make sure people get what I'm saying, right? Because I'm here. I'm here right now because people were confused.
Let him go.
I'm saying I'm here right now because people were confused about my offer, so I just want to make sure that we're not confused again. So.
But if
We'll go to Sarah Jane now.
I'm 30 minutes and I'm still confused. I just wanted to hear that. I think you're saying yes to the 200. You can pay 200. Boom. 4 minimum, two staff, 4 hours minimum. You pay that cost.
What I'm saying is if we decide not to go with some kind of collaborative partnership.
Don't add any more yet. So 200, no problem, no collab, 200. And you're recommending that every month we ensure or every time we have to do this, we ensure we budget it in because that will always be a cost.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Next up is we don't pay 200. Instead, we spend money at the cafe. And this is a one-time offer. And you have 5 minutes to introduce the cafe.
And he will be the staffing.
And he will be the staffing.
And I will be the staffing basis. Basically, you sacrifice for me and I sacrifice for you.
Okay, so
Okay, can we Gail, I think we have clarity now, do we?
I think I'm clear now. So if we're over clarity,
Okay, Sarah
I'm back around, but I'm clear now.
Sarah Jane.
No, I'm not. I wonder if, Farid, you can send something over on paper to whoever's Adonis, are you the one that should get all this money? Put us all down on paper. And when you say it's a one-time offer, that's scary. So I don't know what we'll revert to then. I don't want to have to go through this again. And everything you say, when you say $25, you mean $25 an hour is what you mean. So I would like this on paper. Do you have a fee schedule that you could send us? I'm asking for you.
Okay. So how about this? Maybe we can change this up a little bit. So the reason why I said one time only is because our normal process, and we don't want to encourage or anything like that where people think that you can use that space without any staffing and that Farid is just going to be available at any time to be able to help you with your event so that you can do it for free. I just don't want that message to get across because we've been dealing with that for a while. And so what if we did this? How many times does a big meeting happen? 4, right? I think.
Yes.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. What if we did this? What if, because I really want, if you guys don't have the budget, like I want to give you guys some options. So at the end of the day, the choice is yours, how you want to go. But what if I say yes to all 4? Okay. But in all 4, you got to do the same partnership. So I just feel like it's I actually think it's a really good way, and I feel like it should be like, to me it's a natural fit, but you might have other ideas.
Okay. Can I get on the speakers
That's-
list?
Okay, Michael's on the speakers list. That's opening a whole new thing. I thought we do have other things we want to get
No,
to.
I'm only
as we
saying that.
mentioned.
Oh.
So could we hold that as an idea, Farid, maybe? I'm thinking if we want to open up the whole year, that might be hard for us to land on that today. But if people want to spend the time on it, then we can spend the time on it. So we have Michael, I think, and then Adonis. Is that a new hand?
New hand.
Okay, Michael. I guess Gail. I don't know how she got up to the top there, but she did. Michael, Gail, Adonis,
I'm special.
Walied, I guess. It is 6:04, folks. We're moving along pretty fast here. I think we still want to clarify, I guess, or actually, I would appreciate clarification. Are we going to open up on this new discussion, or are we going to hold that for later?
Farid still has something to say too. He raised his hand again.
Yeah, but you're okay waiting, Farid, or did you?
Yeah, I'm okay waiting.
Yeah, just in case you wanted to say something that you thought was important for the discussion. So I think my suggestion is that we don't open up the year-long discussion right now. That it's great to hear that that's a possibility, but let's just stick with March 27th and only March 27th right now.
Okay, so the first time I was trying to get clarification, there was something still missing. Now, it came up during the discussion. Something was mentioned, but it was mentioned just in passing. So maybe if I mention what it was, maybe it'll be that no, it wasn't really what I thought it was. So I hope that what I thought I heard is what I actually heard and how it was meant. Because if it was, then it completely satisfies me. If I say it and it turns out that that's not what it was supposed to mean, then unfortunately I'm a little bit confused again and maybe not happy. So what I thought I heard at some point during this discussion was that we had to spend a reasonable amount of money at the cafe, but it wouldn't have to have been our entire food budget. We can also spend some of our food budget in other places in the neighborhood and bring that in. So we could divide it up as long as the cafe is getting a portion of our total food spending for that night, and they get their announcement. That's what I thought I heard, that it wasn't a requirement that for that one day we only use the cafe. If that's what I heard, then yes, even without putting a dollar figure on it, then I'm happy with that. I just don't want to get into a situation where we agree, like, sort of to have a complete constraint on how we spend our food money. Because the food budget is going to be more than $200, obviously. So, I mean, honestly, from my point of view, the more flexibility is given to us, the more I would be willing to spend at the cafe. If we're told that we don't have flexibility to bring in any other food, then it's just going to make it hard. So I thought I heard that it can be a mixture, and that would satisfy the requirement of collaboration.
Can we?
So hopefully that's what I heard, and everything's fine.
Farid, can you respond to that, please? It can be a very quick response.
Yeah, I'm going to respond to actually two things. One is, yeah, you're 100% right. Michael, I think that was. You can go buy other food from other places. You can even go to Tim Hortons. I really don't mind. I don't care. You can see how we never cared before with any of the other stuff that you guys brought in, so I don't care. What I'm asking, though, is I think a reasonable a partnership might be like 50-50, right? So you spend 50% of your budget. I'm just saying that because there's two sides to this equation. It's the cafe and the other folks that you're going to get it from. And then if that works for you, then that works for me. If you have a different offer, I'm totally open to hearing as well. But I feel like that might be reasonable. The second thing that I want to say is I only said the whole idea of having it for just because of what Sarah Jane said. So just an idea. I don't want to actually discuss it right now. Way too many things going on. But know that when you think about your future ones, that's an option for you too.
Okay, great. So I do hear a clear decision that we need to make. Let's not. I still want to ask us to be on clarification just to make sure we got everything clear. Once it's clear, let's address this the question of how much we want to allocate each way, percentage wise. I think that's a useful decision to make today. Gail, Adonis, and Walied. Gail, you're
Use
okay.
Michael's lexicon. I would be okay with this if we get to choose who the vendors are. I am not comfortable with choosing a vendor that has an established business. If you're talking about supporting community, yeah, that would be really, really important. And then I think in terms of the presentation piece that you spoke about, that it follows kind of a little bit of the guidelines that Adonis is also working through. But other than that, yeah. So that's my if. If we are choosing who those folks are, I'm good to go. I am not comfortable with supporting for a community event, right? This is not a gala. It's a community event where we're saying we are supporting food insecurity by providing a meal. And therefore, can we do that with our entrepreneurs that are in the community? If they're part of the cafe, right? Because not everybody's going to be a part of the cafe, and should you exclude them, you shouldn't, and we shouldn't be thinking, well, let's just spend it with the established business. So that's my if.
Okay, so now Gail's moved away from clarification and into sort of her thoughts on it, which is fine if nobody else, if everybody understands what we're talking
That's my
about.
decision. My decision is yes, as long as.
Yeah, I know. I heard you, Gail. But I just am asking people, if there's something you don't understand, please ask it, and then we'll move on to our ideas, our opinions on it. Adonis.
So yes, yeah, Farid, I'm just a little confused, and maybe it was on the spot, spur of the moment thing. Earlier, you said as long as we spend one item, and now we're up to 50% of our food budget spends on the cafe. I suggest that because Alana has already made plans, and I don't know who she made plans with, whether it's the community caterers, the cafe, or I'm sure it's not businesses. I'm pretty sure it's not that she has local people. But I would suggest, because this late time where she's already made an arrangement, that you would be willing to accept a minimum of $200 being spent in the cafe for this one time. And then if there's other times, we could certainly leave that for the future. But because we've already, Alana has already gotten or has been in dialogue with communicators, it's a little late. And I don't know her plans, but let's say a minimum of $200. Are you okay with that?
Okay, we're going to go, Farid, I'm just going to hold that for now. Other questions for clarification? And if not, then people can express their ideas and their.
Yeah, so I think I was on the speaker list, right?
Do you have a clarification, Waleed, or do you want to get into?
Yeah, I've been patiently waiting. Is there someone else after me?
Yeah, you're up, Waleed. You're next.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I have been in conversations with Elena, and especially after me and Farid spoke, and Elena was like, yeah, that's the plan, was to get the caterers locally from Cafe Caruso. I think we should just accept this partnership and this offer. It's in goodwill. We are, of course, going to be spending a significant portion of the food budget at Cafe Caruso. I think this saves us space costs. This is just common sense. And Farid, thank you for being here. I don't know where the confusion came up from, or who made the request that you attend. We usually have had this arrangement in the past in previous bookings of the living room at Daniel Spectrum. This is not the first, so there was no need for you to clarify. But I'm glad you came and you actually went through the arrangement in detail. But I just want to make sure that it's clear to everyone. This is what happens: miscommunication, people not being part of different conversations, and I think everything's going to be clarified today after we go through this agenda.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Farid.
Deany?
Oh, I just got a follow up from what Gail was saying. Farid, the cafe, is this a resident run initiative?
Should I respond or?
Yeah, are they community caterers? Are they resident caterers?
Yeah, and we'll share a 5-minute spiel with pictures and videos on the day of to give you more details. But yes, they're actually all entrepreneurs. There's one, I don't know if they're from Regent. I should go find out. Sorry, but the rest of them are living and been here, and you might know some of them. And I think a couple more are going to be added as well before your your event. The concept, right, is something that you guys are probably already familiar with. It's not a new idea. It's been sort of brewing in the community for a while, which is how do we get a lot of the talented food makers that are within the neighborhood, capitalize on it and turn it into a viable income earning motive. So
that's what I thought it was, resident cooks.
Yeah. So there's this one group, I just don't know them, and I really didn't get a chance to sit down and really get to know them. So I don't know if they are from, but I know everybody else is because I know them and I've known them for years. And the other two that are coming in, they are as well. And I also want to just, since I'm already talking right now, just clarify a couple of things. Yes, you can choose, if you choose to go with us, you can choose any of the entrepreneurs that you want to. I would hope that you choose as many as possible, but that's your prerogative. I'm not going to tell you what food to choose. That's weird. So that's on you. That's kind of wide. So what we can do is we can send you our menu, which is very close to being ready. And then you can choose. Then you just let the cafe know, Humair and Halima, directly if you want to, or just drop by and then let them know that you want to order. And then the beauty about us is they'll be able to make everything in the building on that day, which means you get everything fresh, hot. And again, like I said, from the series and the cafe, because the cafe is open, it also serves as a good way to, serve your food too, right? I think there's one more thing somebody said that I was going to clarify. Oh yes, Adonis had something as well. Basically, I don't think I said just one thing. One item would be very small for 100-person event. I said I haven't come up with a number or a dollar figure. That's totally up for a thing. I only suggested a 50-50 because to me at this moment that seems reasonable. But if you have other things going on and decisions have been made and you need to modify it, I'm not a hard customer. Like I want this to work. But I also think that mutual benefit for everybody is good for our community.
Okay, great.
Great. Okay, so we have had a number of thoughts on this. Anybody else want to give their opinions about where we want to go with this? I can sum up what I hear as a proposal. I might have got it wrong, and so if I do sum it up, I would ask for people to first respond to whether you want to change the proposal if I heard it wrong. So I'm hearing that we will, if we go ahead with this, we will use food from the Carousel Cafe, and at least in sort of in a spirit of good faith, we'll use local residents' food, and we're not sure exactly how much, but it'll be a substantial amount. The rest of this, I think, probably doesn't have to come back to the planning committee. There's details to be landed on, but we can maybe have somebody who will do that. That's what I'm hearing. Is there any people want to suggest that to tweak what I'm saying or change it?
One quick amendment.
Yeah, amendment. Sure.
The amendment is that Farid is speaking to plug, provide the opportunity for Farid to plug the carousel at the event.
Yeah. Thanks.
Included
Gail?
in the agenda.
Yeah, I think for me, the other tweak is it has to be one of our local entrepreneurs. You can be an entrepreneur and be the business there. So if you have a brick and mortar, like that, for me, that can't be it. If we're supporting the entrepreneurs, then let's support the entrepreneurs. But I know that there's a brick and mortar that is part of the carousel, and that, no.
But it sounds like that we cover that by just like we through the planning committee, we can decide which ones we
By
use.
selecting.
For sure.
Okay.
So can you repeat that again?
Does somebody else, like, I'm not sure if I'm as close to this. I can repeat it, but if somebody else thinks they'll get it more accurate, go ahead.
We will have the opportunity to select and ensure that we're selecting resident caterers that are not brick and mortar established businesses.
And out of gratitude for Farid's willingness to come and be there for that night, we will ensure that a substantial amount of our money is spent on the Carousel Cafe.
But it doesn't have to be all of the food budget.
No, but it sounds like
a substantial amount.
Yeah, and it sounds like Elena was okay with that.
I mean, it sounds like to me that was the first place she went to, actually, from what we said.
Well, there may not be any issue.
It looks like it was already happening.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah, great. I'm all for it.
Great. Thanks so much, Farid. Appreciate that. Any more questions for Farid? I think we can let him go. Thanks. I hope you get better soon, Farid. Much appreciation for coming.
Thank you, Farid.
Yeah, thank you as well. Thank you as well. And you don't have to say yes to me on this one, because I can just find another way to do this. But maybe on that day, I could also, so this, obviously, I'm actually here at this meeting for one reason only, is because we didn't do a good job at explaining to this table what that process is and what that cost is. And so if you guys don't know, that means there's probably hundreds of other people that don't know. So if possible, you don't have to say yes, because I know time is limited. I already asked for my 5. Our deal is done. But if possible, I can write it in writing. But if possible, then if I could also get a couple minutes just to talk about very quickly, like in 2 minutes, our living room, and just to share with them a booking process for it. So if they want to book, if you guys want to book, so that this information will kind of be available to the 100 people that are like super connected. The people who come to this event are the people that I want to know about the process. So if that's possible, great. If not, I can try another time.
We'll let you know, Farid. We're going to discuss the agenda. We might not get to it today, but we'll let you know.
Cool. Thank you. Anything else, or I can go?
You can go. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay, of course, but I think it's probably, sounds like you need some rest.
I can barely breathe. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to pass it back to you, Brandy.
Okay.
I would I would request that we ensure we do the poster today, because we are a month away. We need to land on the poster today and have it done within a week.
Agreed.
Brandy, I just want to, again, find out if the proposal that I put forward, that we could go ahead with that. Does anybody need to have me repeat it? Can we just make a decision? Or is
I
there
had my hand up on
proposals
that item.
for the content?
Okay, so do you want to speak to that, Deany? And then we've got, I believe, is the other one you, Joel, with the handout?
Yeah, Gail's asking for him to repeat it, and then I'll ask my question.
Okay. All right, Adonis, can you repeat that? And then I believe we'll have a follow-up question from Deany as well as Joel.
Yeah, so this is our first meeting since the new year, the stakeholders table, since for the new year. And I thought it'd be a great idea for all the working groups. So there's 4 working groups to basically present under activities. It could be events and things that they plan to do over the year, as well as obviously introduce the new co-chairs and let people know when their work group meetings are held, and basically have a Q&A with residents who come to the stakeholders table about their activities, and then encourage residents who attend to, and other stakeholders, of course, to participate on the working table, maybe sign up people. And again, once everybody has a time for the presentation, they could do it as creatively as they want to do it. Could be in a form of a skit, for instance, or whatever. So that's the proposal. And just to help the working groups to process this information, I suggest a small ad hoc committee could work with each of the working groups or leads to on their presentation in terms of the details about how much time and everything else. We don't have to work on the details in the planning committee once we're okay with this plan. That we could set a small ad hoc committee to prepare this.
Okay, thank you for repeating that, Adonis. Deany, you'll be up next, and then we'll have Joel.
Yeah, I know we wanted this to be more engaging. In the past, when we've done reports on the activities from our work groups, when we ask people if they have any questions, we get crickets. We're lucky if we get one person who asks a question.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, is there a way maybe to do something that prompts more response in some way?
So yeah, that's why I suggest that once we decide on the broad thing, we know we want audience participation and we want feedback from the audience, that the ad hoc committee then meets to look at the details of that. Let's not decide it here.
No, I'm fine with that. It just, I felt that there was a need for more facilitated participation there. Okay.
Thank you, Deany. Joel, do you want to go ahead? You're up next.
I don't have my hand up.
Oh, who's the other Regent Park?
I'm good with just listening still and hearing you guys negotiate. I'm just learning how to be in a meeting like this, you know? So I'm here, but I have nothing to say still. It's all being said.
Well, thank
you, Levy.
Levy, I would ask you to join us for the ad hoc committee.
I am here. I'm joining you. I'm always
amazing.
Walied, is that you with your hand?
That was me, Brandy. I'm just sending you the link to the draft poster based on last year's. I think it worked. So I'm just sending that to you via email, and maybe we can just share it with folks and we could just get it approved.
Okay. You're sending the link right now, correct?
Correct.
I would suggest that the subcommittee, it goes to the subcommittee and they could adopt, change it or amend it. And rather than view it now.
Oh, okay.
That's a better idea. I'll just send it to you, both of you. You're gonna do this.
No problem.
I would suggest doing it now. Might as well just.
Why? We know we got other. Okay. Anyway, we don't.
So we're done with the content. So are we going to look? We've just briefly discussed food, but that was, I guess that's a big part for us today. Are we going to be taking consensus over the food? I do know I did reach out to Elena because this was something that she was responsible for. She also did provide me with a total, so an invoice for the total of $950. I know that we need to make a decision, but are we making that decision today, or can we wait until we have time to go over this and she is here to speak as well? I have two participants that raised their hand. I got Walied and we've got Adonis. So go ahead, Walied.
Yeah,
and
I think we should work through the working group, the small committee. I think that way, because it's a month away, right? So it's just this other logistics beyond promotions that we could just quickly discuss, and maybe we could share what the discussions were at the planning committee. So we don't have to rehash this conversation again.
Okay, fair enough.
Because we're just going back to square one.
Okay, fair enough. I think we're all in agreement there. We're going to discuss the food at an additional time. So we're looking at now the event. Sorry, Adonis, you had your hand up. Go ahead.
I guess all the rest of this could be, unless there's something different, can be discussed by the committee. Let's call it the stakeholders ad hoc committee, and let's see if we can get the people who are interested in serving on that, so that I could reach out to them. I'm happy to take a lead on this, but once we have people's names, I could reach out to them and get a meeting separately from this group.
Hello.
Go ahead, Michael.
If the poster can be done today, it would help. All the other logistics can be left to a committee, but things should be like streamlined according to their priority and timeliness. So it's not a formalistic sort of thing like, oh, we have a committee, so we're not doing it here. You can do some of each. And we got to the main discussion on the content so quickly that it would be only hurting ourselves not to use the rest of the time to finish the poster today.
Thank you, Michael. Does Adonis?
May I make an amendment? Maybe if we go through the other items, like you have this committee, if we get the committee started, and then we go through the rest of the items, if there's time at the end, we'll do the posters. If not, the subcommittee can make it their first priority. And we'll meet next week. So let's get the names of people who want to join the committee first, then go to all the other agenda items. And if there's time, we'll look at the posters together. If not, let's let the subcommittee do that.
Do you want hands raised or what?
Yes, I would, if that's okay with the chair, the facilitator.
Yep, go ahead. That's fine.
Okay, great. So please let me know who's interested in serving with us. Levy, I'm hoping.
Absolutely.
Yay.
I am.
Anyone else?
I am.
Sarah Jane?
Yeah, me.
Deany?
I'll join.
Joel?
Yes.
Michael?
Why don't we just say it's the whole planning committee?
You know.
It's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand.
Fear of missing out.
Well, we could say it's an hour. Like we've done this before. I mean, I'm not opposed to that.
Me too.
What? Yeah. Okay. Kedar. All right. Okay. So I'll arrange a date with everybody and the time, and email everybody.
Thank you, Adonis. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for your participation.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and visit us on all our social media platforms. Please visit our website for more information.